Today we're going to talk about cloth diapering 101. So my goal for today's session is to really kind of do an overview of cloth diapering, what options are, a little bit about accessories and utilizing cloth diapers. I have 2 videos that I will share as well. And then I will kind of answer questions and do all of that. So I will start with introducing myself. My name is Lauren. I am the Family Support Specialist with Childcare Answers. So in my role, I help families locate childcare. I also do free parenting workshops as well as free parenting support. So one-on-one, kind of answering questions via email, chatting over the phone, meeting via Zoom, and then in a non-COVID world, when childcare isn't an issue or anything like that, we can meet like at Starbucks or things to chat. But most of the time, families prefer meeting online or just emailing back and forth. So all of that is free. I'm also a cloth diapering mom. So my 2 kiddos are up on this screen. Charlie is now 7 and Claire's 3. They both were cloth diapered. I love these pictures because it's the 2 of them wearing the same diaper over the course of, the time that they were diapered. So Claire wore all of Charlie's diapers that he had. And of course, I had to get some pinks and some things after she was born, but that's the life of a cloth diapering mom, is the stash is never done. So I'm sure that I will share lots of stories about these 2 and my journey through cloth diapering. Claire is potty trained now, so I don't have any diapers anymore. I really wish that I had some to show you, like physically show you today, but I sold them all. They're all gone. We're in undies now, and I'm not sad about that. So we are done with diapers at our house. So if you are not currently following Childcare Answers on social media, I highly recommend doing so. And we have a very active Facebook and YouTube channel. We also share everything that we post on Facebook on other social media channels as well. So on Facebook, you're going to find our new Family Fridays, where we're posting things about families and what you can do at home, and kind of a little snippet of something. Last Friday were 5 things that you can ask your kiddo after school or after childcare, so that you're not just getting fine, it was fine, nothing happened. And I even kind of whipped that out last night at dinner and was asking some of those questions. And we also have all of our registration for our workshops, like today's workshop, housed on Facebook. We share articles and links and events that are happening out in the community. And then our YouTube channel houses all of our recordings. So today's workshop is being recorded. It will be sent out to you via email, so you don't have to worry about taking a ton of notes. You will get it. And then you can always hop on our YouTube channel to watch any of our other kind of videos or recordings of things. And then Childcare Answers is part of a larger statewide network of childcare resource and referral agencies. So our agency offers services to Hendricks, Hamilton, and Marion counties, but we all are kind of this interconnected network that we support each other. So even if you are not in one of those 3 counties, we are here to help you. And it's a seamless transition from one agency to the next. So I'm going to start with kind of talking about misconceptions or things that you may have heard about cloth. It's expensive, yeah. And we'll talk about cost, because that is kind of one of those things that there is a lot of upfront costs when it comes to cloth. And so we'll talk about cloth and the cost compared to disposables and kind of the breakdown of the 2. There are definitely different tiers of cost that can go into cloth. If you become a cloth mama who needs every new print and every limited print, it definitely isn't cheaper. But we will talk about cost. I love this meme, or GIF or whatever you call them. That's a cloth diaper. Where are the pins? Because that was definitely my mom when I told her we were on a cloth diaper, that she was like, why would you do that? And her mind was like a cloth diaper with pins and rubber pants over it. So that's, every time I look at this, I laugh because that was totally my mom. And she bought disposables for my son so that when he would come over to her house, she could just use those. And then she did realize that cloth wasn't as bad as she thought it was. Any other kind of misconceptions or things that you've heard about cloth?
I don't know if it's like a misconception or not, but like I bought cloth diapers the other day for the first time. Like I didn't know what to expect. And they're like muslin blankets. So I'm
Okay.
not, I guess like you use the pins with them or whatever. I don't know. But like I just wanted to like figure out more information about cloth diapering and if there's like an easier way to do it.
Yeah. So my guess is what you bought are like probably like the Gerber brand or a different brand. It says cloth diapers, but a lot of people use them for burp cloths.
Yeah, that's more what they look like.
Okay. Yep. So there are they can be used as a diaper. But there are much easier ways to cloth diaper than that, but they're fantastic burp cloths. So I know it can be very overwhelming at the beginning to be like, I don't understand all of these things and all of these options. So cloth has come a long way. So back when my mom was cloth diapered as a kid, she was one of 13. They lived on a farm, that story. That was my mom. They've come a long way since then. So that traditional kind of pins and absorbent layer, kind of like what you mentioned, is that like Gerber cloth diaper, which now we kind of use as burp cloths more often. And then a cover is kind of the old school way of looking at cloth diapering. Technology has definitely blessed us with some easier, better, more absorbent types of cloth diapers, but there are still a lot of options. So here is a picture of some cloth diapers. This is basically exactly what the diapers that we used look like. We used Bum Genius mostly, and that is because they were very accessible at Bye Bye Baby and stores where someone could go run and get one. I am also located in Indy, and at the time we had a cloth diaper store that sold them as well. So that is the type of diaper that I use, but I know a lot of people that have used lots of different brands, and there are tons on Amazon too. So there's a lot of different options for you. So I wanted to first start with kind of this guide to modern diapering. And so here I think is where you're going to get your question answered, and a run through on cloth. And this is just a very high level overview. And as I'm talking, I can always pull up, I have some like hidden slides about each specific type of diaper that I can pull up and show you. But there are essentially diapers that are either a 1-part or a 2-part diaper. So your 1-part diapers are obviously going to be the most easy to use. They are the most similar to a disposable diaper. That's all kind of one unit, all housed together. You put it on baby, you take it off, you stick it in a wet bag, and you clean it. There's no stuffing, there's no inserts, there's no pins, there's nothing. It is all one unit. So you have the all-in-one, which is one piece. So the insert is actually sewn into the diaper. And then you have the all-in-twos, which is basically a hybrid version of the all-in-one, where the insert snaps in instead of it being sewn in. And that's just really for ease of washing so that you can dry and clean the lining and the outer layer separately if you want to. It helps it dry faster, those types of things. But what's nice about the all-in-two, because it is more of a hybrid model, is that insert can be either disposable or cloth. And so some of you might be thinking, well, Why would I be doing cloth if I'm just going to use a disposable insert? Families who are out and about a lot, families who send their kiddos to childcare, they vacation a lot, they may be going over to grandparents' house or things like that. They like the ease of an all-in-two, because when you go on vacation, you can still use your cloth diapers with disposable inserts and just throw them away, or childcare, or when you're out and about. Maybe when you go out to the grocery store and you have to change a diaper, you don't want to deal with having to have a wet bag and all of that. So you prefer the ease of a disposable liner, but you don't want to buy or invest in disposable diapers. So that is why someone may prefer an all-in-two over an all-in-one. And I think that really comes down to just lifestyle, and what's easiest for you. What's nice about cloth diapering is there's not one answer. It is really the system that works best for you and your family. And there's no judgment if you're all into cloth diapering, half in, partially in, or you leave here going, you know what, never mind. I'm not into this. I obviously love it. That's why I'm doing the training today on cloth diapering. I cloth diapered both of my kiddos, and I saw the value in doing it. But every family is different. And so that is kind of the route that you want to take. We had a combination of all-in-one diapers in our stash, and then a combination of pocket diapers, which is one of the diapers under the two-part system, and probably the easiest to use in the two-part system. So similar to the all-in-one, there's this stay dry kind of liner into the diaper, and then there's a pocket where all of the absorbent layer gets stuffed into. The all-in-one, the absorbent layer is sewn in, or it's all one piece. The pocket diaper, it actually comes out and then you restuff it. The nice thing about a pocket versus an all-in-one is that you have the flexibility to adjust absorbency. So you can add extra layers, you can remove layers. You just have a little bit more control over the bulkiness of the diaper or how much it's absorbing. That can be nice for a really heavy wetter. It can be nice as your baby turns into a toddler. It can be nice if your baby is not a super heavy wetter, that you can remove absorbency so it's not as bulky. And it can be nice for nighttime as well. What I love about a pocket diaper too is with no absorbent layer added into it, it acts as a swim diaper. So you don't have to have a separate swim diaper or things like that. Just take out the absorbent layer inside of it, basically unstuff it, and then you have a swim diaper too. So the two most common, easiest to use types of cloth diapers are the all-in-one and the pocket. And that's because they essentially work like a disposable diaper. You put it on, you snap it or you Velcro it, go about your day. Baby needs a diaper change, you take it off, you stick it in a wet bag, and then you wash it. It goes on and off like a disposable. So it's the easiest for grandparents and childcare programs to use. And it requires the least amount of understanding about a cloth diaper system, which is why we decided to go that route. Under the two-part systems, you also have the prefold. So the prefold is what you were saying, that kind of piece of cloth that looks like a burp cloth or a piece of fabric. And how do you use that? So in that kind of system, you have this absorbent pad, like that burp cloth. You fold it, you wrap it around baby's bottom. Instead of snaps now, you use what's called a snappy, and that is that little gray thing under the prefold picture. I like to think about this kind of like an ace bandage, that little metal clip that would hold the two sides together and then the bottom to keep an ace bandage on. It's essentially the same thing, but made out of silicone and larger. So it acts as pins without being pins. It's much easier to use. And that is what holds it all together. So when baby pees or baby poops, the absorbent pad with the snappy is keeping it contained. And then you would need the shell or a cover to go over the top of that. It is the cheapest version of cloth diapering. It is the most economical. And for children not in childcare, I mean, you can use this kind of system in childcare, but it is just more complicated. for children, especially if they're staying home with parents or with grandparents or kind of a babysitter instead of a childcare program, it's a fairly easy system to use. And again, it's the cheapest. What's nice about this and why some parents would prefer this system over the other is that only the absorbent layer would need changed at every diaper change. So you would take off the absorbent layer, we'll take off the cover, take the absorbent layer off, put a new piece of fabric there, put the snappy back on, wipe the cover clean if it needs any, and then you stick the cover back on. A pocket diaper, it is all changed in one unit. So the diaper and the insert are both soiled. They both go into the wet bag. So you would need enough inserts and covers for every diaper change. Where with a prefold or the fitteds, you would only need to have a couple of covers because you could use that same cover for several diaper changes or all day if it doesn't get soiled from a bowel movement. And that is why it is cheaper. The fitteds are similar to prefolds. They are more expensive, and the absorbent layer is more like a diaper. So it almost is like a 2 diaper system. So you have the prefold that is a diaper with snaps, but there's nowhere, it's absorbent, but there's nothing stopping that water or that liquid or pee or poo from leaking everywhere. And so then you would put the cover on top of that. And I would say that is the least common version of cloth diapering. Unless you were like super into cloth diapering, you use wool pants and do all of this, like you're really living the life of cloth diapering, fitteds are probably not for you. I don't know very many people who use fitteds. I see most people using pockets and all-in-ones, and then prefolds being the third most common option, and that's just because they are so much cheaper than everything else. So as you're thinking about cost, because one of the questions was around cost, for an all-in-one or an all-in-two, you're looking at about $20 to $25 a piece per diaper. Looking at a stash, you're wanting enough diapers to last you 2 to 3 days in between washing. So you're wanting probably 15 to 30 diapers. We had about 30, and I liked that number in my stash. So $20 a pop, and you need about 30 of them. So it can add up at that upfront cost. Pocket diapers are anywhere between about $10 and $20, depending on brand. So they are definitely cheaper. The added layers, you can get hemp, bamboo, microfiber, cotton. There are a lot of different things that you can add as absorbent layers. And those are typically things that you would buy over time as the need arose. So they usually come with microfiber. That's good to go until your baby is older or becomes a toddler, and that's when you might start adding. So that cost can kind of be spread out a little bit. And then your prefolds and covers. Covers are anywhere from about $7 to $15, depending on brand. And you can usually get a pack of prefolds for about 10. They're usually about $2 to $3 a piece. So those again are your cheaper option because you only need just a handful of covers because you're reusing it at every diaper change. So that is kind of this larger overview of the types of diapers. Before I move on, do you guys have any questions on those or want to talk kind of more in depth about them?
My question is, like, if you were to buy the pre-fold diapers, is there a way to like buy them as like a set, like as a starter kit?
Yes. So a couple brands will have them as starter kits. I would look on Amazon. That's probably your best place. I'm going to share a resource later for Fluff Love University. And so they have a whole page on what we call China cheapies, which are these certain brands of diapers that are much cheaper than any brand you're going to get here. You can buy them online and have them shipped. So I would do your research on brands first because I did not have very good luck with China cheapies. They leaked, they caused rashes, they just weren't great. We ended up just using them for swim diapers. So just look at brands and figure out, but if they are a legit diaper brand that's on Fluff Love University and on some of those other cloth diaper websites. You can buy them anywhere. And a lot of them will have kind of this set with like a couple covers, a couple prefolds, and a couple snappies. Or you can buy them all separate. But if you go on Amazon, how you like add one thing to your cart and it's like, you might like this, this, and this, that you can kind of like add them all together, if that makes sense. I also recommend getting a couple of each of the ones that you're interested in trying to figure out what you actually like before investing in a whole stash. So a lot of families choose cloth for a lot of different reasons, but I would love to hear from you guys why you might be interested in cloth, what you've heard as reasons that people choose cloth, kind of what those motivators are for choosing cloth.
I decided to do cloth because because I'm potty training my oldest. So I have a 3-year-old and a 10-month-old. So my 3-year-old, this potty training thing has become a power struggle. So we're doing regular underwear. So I'm doing laundry quite a bit. So I felt like if I'm doing laundry anyways, I might as well try cloth diapers because it would be something new. And then just, I don't know, I feel like it's a lot that goes into like the disposable diapers, like thinking about like the landfills and stuff like that and how much trash I go through with diapers. I think if I'm going to be cleaning stuff anyways, I might as well just do cloth diapers.
Yeah, what's one more load of laundry at the end of the day?
Right.
And are you home with your kiddos?
I started out being home because I had my youngest in May. So like because of the pandemic, I stayed at home, but I recently started going back to work, probably the end of December. So I was trying to also look at like easier options for like the daycare to like change them and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking at.
Got it. So looking from that perspective, it may be the most beneficial from a cost perspective and an ease perspective to get a couple pocket diapers for childcare, essentially, and then kind of your fitteds with or your prefolds with covers for home, or all pockets, depending on what you want, kind of a combination of the two or all pockets, because childcare is going to handle pockets much easier than the prefolds with covers. And I'll share a little bit about childcare at the end, but in childcare, they cannot replace a cover. So like at home, you change the diaper. And then if the cover isn't soiled, you use it again. Licensing dictates in childcare that everything has to be changed at each diaper change. So you would have to have enough covers for every diaper change in childcare. So that's why a cheaper pocket diaper just for childcare may actually be a better option, or disposable diapers for childcare and the fitteds with or prefolds with covers at home may also be something that you want. And there is no shame in the game of sometimes disposables and sometimes cloth. But
Okay,
you're right.
thank you.
You're welcome. But you're right. Like the main motivators that I hear are cost, but also just that environmental impact and what's in disposable diapers and what disposable diapers are doing to landfills. So here are the main pros of cloth diapering. Number one, in the long run, it is cheaper. It reduces waste. We don't have all of those diapers going into the landfill. The stack of diapers you need is about this high versus the boxes and boxes of diapers that you're buying. And there are actually less diaper rashes in kiddos who are cloth diapered, and that's because of the chemicals in disposable diapers, as well as the fact of like the layers and how it wicks away moisture differently. And yes, a disposable diaper is wicking away more moisture from the skin, but that's because there's chemicals taking away the moisture from the skin versus a cloth diaper where it's wicking itself away naturally. There are also fewer blowouts when it comes to cloth diapers. It doesn't mean you're going to get 0 blowouts, but there are definitely less giant poos that get out of those diapers in your cloth diapers versus your disposables. I've also seen this personally as a parent, that toileting is actually easier in kiddos who are cloth diapered. And that is because they are more aware from a younger age what it feels like to be wet. A disposable diaper does a great job of making baby or toddler feel dry. That's kind of its job. You can have the diaper hanging down to the knees and they're like, no, I'm not wet. And you're like, yeah, you are. And they do a really good job of that. But the downside of that is that you have a toddler walking around with a wet diaper who has no idea that they have a wet diaper. In cloth, they can feel it. So they become more aware of this feeling of being wet, which is a motivator for toileting. If I don't like being wet, I'm motivated to stay dry. And that is why kiddos who are cloth diaper do potty train quicker and faster. They're trained earlier than kiddos who are in disposable diapers. There are less chemicals, if sometimes none, depending on the type of diaper that you're using. They retain their value. So like I mentioned earlier that I've sold all of my diapers, and I sold all of them for close to what I bought them for. So that is also an option, is to buy used diapers. They sell them, you can find them on Facebook Marketplace, you can get them on eBay, all sorts of places, local kind of Facebook swap groups. That is an option, is to buy used diapers because they are going to be cheaper. And depending on the type of diaper, some diapers do need to be prepped at the very beginning, which means you have to do several washes for them to become absorbent. And used diapers are already absorbent when you get them. And so there is a lot of upfront cost, but at the end of the day, once you're done using them, you can sell them and recoup a lot of that. And they're just so stinking cute. There is really nothing better than a little cloth bum. It's just one of those most precious things. And I might be biased, but it is super cute. And there's so many really cute prints, and that's where cloth diapering then becomes the slippery slope of like, but I need this print and this one, and look at this one that came out. And then it becomes this tunnel and obsession that can't be controlled. Another motivator, again, being that cost piece. And so here is an example of cost breakdown. So typically a stash of 24 to 36 diapers costs about $500. So that is what you might expect to pay up front for diapers. However, assuming that a child is toilet trained at 2.5 years old, you would expect to be spending about $2,000 during that time on disposable diapers. So by switching to cloth, you would save about $1,500. If you're using an eco-friendly diaper, something like more organic, which is more expensive, you're looking to save about $2,000. And then with multiple children, you're saving at least $2,500, if not more. And that is by switching completely from disposables to cloth. And if you have a stash for one child, the next child can wear them. So that upfront $500 for that stash is for the first child wearing those diapers. It continues to be able to be used for subsequent children with very little work that needs to happen in between them. And we replaced some elastic on a few diapers in between my son and my daughter. And that was just very minimal cost. And it just took some time to replace the elastic. Sometimes it's just getting a couple new inserts, new wet bags. So the cost again is very minimal. And then that environmental impact. So daily in the world, Over 6,000 tons of diapers are thrown away, which is huge. It takes about 500 years to break down a single diaper. So from that kind of lens of the environmental impact, which is a huge motivator for a lot of people to go to cloth, it definitely makes an impact. When you think about how many diapers are being thrown away daily across the whole world and how long it really takes for those diapers to break down. So there is kind of that satisfaction of cloth diapering, knowing that you are making a huge impact on the landfills and the environment. So that is kind of that last motivator for families on switching to cloth. So now we'll talk a little bit about caring for cloth. I'm going to show 2 videos as I'm talking about kind of washing and spraying and accessories and all of that. They are videos that I made when I was in a different position as infant toddler specialist or childcare programs. So I do talk a little bit about childcare in them. And it was when my baby was a baby. So I think I was still on maternity leave with her. And they are a little grainy, but outside of that, they're fantastic videos. The messaging is really good. So I just will kind of preface it with those. Those videos are also housed on our YouTube channel. So those are always ones that you can go back and just watch because they are really short. It's a lot simpler sometimes than going through this whole webinar again. So those are available to you. So I'm going to start with a video on spraying cloth diapers and kind of how, like what we do with diapers after we change baby.
Childcare providers always wonder, what do you do with those diapers after they come home when our family's cloth diaper? So today I'm going to show you what I do with diapers when I bring them home from childcare. So childcare providers cannot wash, clean, or unstuff cloth diapers or clothing. So you have to stick all your diapers in a wet bag and send it home to a family. So this is the wet bag that I got from school. I've unzipped it so that I can see what's inside. So when I open up the diaper bag at the end of the day, I have both pocket diapers, which have a lining that goes inside, and I also have all-in-one diapers. So it's all one unit that's all connected and sewn together. So when I have a all-in-one diaper that does not have poop on it, I can stick this into the bag for washing, and I'm good to go until it's time to clean them. For diapers that do have a lining, I have to remove the lining, and if this were a poop diaper, I would have to spray it. So I'm going to show you my cloth diaper sprayer. So my sprayer is attached to the toilet. It shoots water and it's a lot of fun. And so I'm just going to spray the poop off of my diaper. I also have a diaper shield that you can buy on Amazon, but my husband made one. That sticks inside of the toilet. I can then hook the diaper onto the side and spray so that nothing goes all over my bathroom. So once I'm done, I just wring out the diaper and I stick it in the wet bag. I make sure that I wash my hands, and then I can clean every couple of days.
All right. So that kind of goes over how you might handle after you change a diaper or bringing diapers home from childcare. So after changing the diaper, you literally just stick it in the wet bag or unstuff it. If it does have poop on it and baby is not exclusively breastfed, so exclusively breastfed babies, their poop is water soluble. It can go right into the washer. There's no spraying or rinsing or anything that you need to do. But if baby is on formula, or once you start solids, you will need to kind of spray off the chunks. And a diaper sprayer is super easy to spray it off, stick it in the wet bag, and then you don't have to worry about it until it's time to clean diapers every couple of days. So I mentioned earlier this link that I was going to share. It's for Fluff Love University. They are a fantastic resource when it comes to cloth diapering. They have a detergent index, which lists basically every type of laundry detergent ever made. And it rates them on a scale of like, I wouldn't use this on your cloth diapers, to this is fantastic. So I like that as a way of starting with like, what do I use now for my clothes? Is that cloth safe? So I don't have to find something different. If that's not cloth safe, is there something else that I want to switch to that I can wash everything in? Or do I want to find a detergent that isn't going to break the bank, that is going to be safe for my cloth diapers, that I can use just for cloth? And detergent is a very like personal choice. You do what you want. There is not one detergent that works best for cloth diapering. So I love their detergent index to talk about kind of what to choose. They also have a list of cloth safe diaper creams, because not every diaper cream can be used on cloth diapers. So some of them cause repelling and staining. And the last thing you want in a cloth diaper is that they start repelling liquid. Like that's their job, is to absorb liquid. So we don't want them repelling at all. So they have a list again there of cloth diaper creams, many of which you can buy at, Target, CVS, Walmart, Meijer, or buy online. And then there are some kind of specialty, all natural things that you can buy online as well. I preferred using mostly coconut oil unless my baby had a rash, which was pretty rare. But most of the time we just put a little coconut oil on there if we were seeing any redness, and then that worked great. So you'll find that you may not even need the Desitin and the extra strength creams that you would have needed with disposable by switching to cloth. They also have a troubleshooting page. And if you're new to cloth, you don't need to worry about troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is typically something that happens once you've been cloth diapering for a while. Like your baby has been using those diapers for a year, and then you start to get stink issues or leaky diapers, or you may need to strip your diapers. But starting off at the beginning, this is really not even something you need to worry about until you start having problems. And some people never have problems. Some people have problems. They make a minor adjustment in their wash routine and then they're good. It just kind of depends on your child, your wash routine, and the type of diapers that you have. But they have a troubleshooting page that has things like dealing with yeast, mold, and rashes, how to strip diapers. If you're buying used diapers, this is probably somewhere I would look to start with, is how to strip them and clean them before you ever use them. What to do with leaky diapers, and then understanding when and if to use things like bleach and OxyClean and other things. There's a lot out there on the internet when it comes to cloth diapering, especially around washing. So I would start with like your basic routine and then troubleshoot anything through Fluff Love. That is my recommendation, because the internet can steer you in lots of different directions. So when it comes to laundry, you kind of just start with the basic way that you wash your laundry. Add a pre-rinse before. So what we do is kind of throw all of our diapers in, do a quick wash with no detergent, which just kind of rinses things clean. It gets out some of those ammonia crystals that might have started crystallizing inside of the diapers from the pee. It gets off any extra chunks that the sprayer didn't get off. It just gets everything wet and starts the washing process. Then wash on hot, using enough detergent to clean diapers. This is usually where people go wrong, is not using enough detergent, because they're so worried about a detergent buildup in their diapers. And if your diapers aren't clean, you're gonna have stink issues, and your diapers are not going to work well. So you wanna make sure that you are using enough detergent to actually clean the diapers, and then doing an extra rinse after to make sure that all of that detergent is being rinsed clean. So rinse, wash, rinse is kind of the routine that you want to think about, using a hot wash just to make sure that you're cleaning them. If you stick to those simple tips when it comes to washing, it usually doesn't matter what detergent you use or what kind of washing machine you have. As much water as possible, a good amount of detergent, and enough washes and rinses to clean the diapers.
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
So when you say the first wash is like a rinse, like do we do like let it go completely through like the whole wash cycle, but just with like no detergent, or turn it to the rinse cycle and do a rinse that way?
It depends on what kind of washer you have. My washer doesn't have like a pre-rinse, so I had to do a quick wash with no detergent and let it go through the whole wash cycle. Some washing machines have like a rinse and drain. And if you have a rinse and drain, that's the cycle that I would use, because it's going to be quicker than going through kind of a quick wash that I had to do with my machine.
Okay.
And then some machines also have buttons for the extra rinse. My machine has that. So I was able to click like hot wash and then the button for extra rinse. But some machines don't. So then you would have to do kind of that rinse and drain or rinse and spin again, like after the wash is done, if that makes sense. There's a lot of questions on washing. I anticipated a lot of questions on washing because that's usually where hiccups happen, but everyone tends to go in saying like, I heard this could happen and this can happen and this can happen, and just go in washing them, and when an issue arises, then adjust. But it does not have to be as complicated as some people make it into, if that makes sense. So I'm going to play another video, and this is kind of the follow-up to the video that I showed earlier. This is about our wash routine. So I've rinsed the diapers, they're in the wet bag being housed until wash day. Now what? I'm gonna go over here. There we go.
Now that I have sprayed all of my diapers, I'm going to show you a little bit about how I wash them. So every wash routine is different. Everybody's laundry machine is just a little bit different. So this is the way that we wash. It may be different for another family. So I've already dumped most of my diapers in. Here are the diapers that I just sprayed. I'm going to start with, we use a little bit of OxiClean in our wash. And I'm going to do first a pre-rinse. So I'm going to wash on warm with a speed wash. And that will be my first cycle. After this is done, I will do a heavy duty wash on hot with an extra rinse. And I will use a detergent that's cloth diaper safe. So we use a different detergent for our clothes than we do for our laundry, but this is made especially for cloth diapers. So I use 2 scoops of this on a hot wash. Once it's done, I either hang them to dry or I dry them in the dryer. When it's nice out, I sun them to get out any stains that may have lingered.
All right, so again, that kind of just goes over my general wash routine of what I was doing when my daughter was still in diapers. Diapers can get dried in the dryer or hung. When it comes to just the covers, if you're using prefolds and covers, it's best probably just to hang those up to dry for the most part, and then dry the inserts in the dryer. Pockets and all-in-ones can go either one. And then sunning them outside can take away some stains. We never really had any issues with any of our diapers staining, but sometimes I like to just let them kind of air out outside. So one of the things that you saw in both videos is our wet bag. So a wet bag is what essentially holds diapers in between washes. So it's going to hold your wet, dirty diapers in a way that is not going to get everything wet and stinky around it. So you can have different size wet bags. They also make the wet bag that can go inside of a diaper pail, like a pail liner. They get washed right alongside of your diapers. And those are what holds all of the diapers while you're kind of waiting. So we had different size that we would send to childcare or that we would have in the diaper bag when we were out and about. a different size for kind of compiling everything together. And again, those just get washed right alongside of your diapers. I'm a huge fan of wet bags. I kept all of the wet bags after we stopped diapering because we take them to the pool and put our wet swim towels and our bathing suits in them. I have one in the car in case one of the kids throws up and I need to take all of the nasties and put it somewhere. It's just a really great bag for holding anything that's wet or nasty and it not getting out of the bag or leaking. And so I am a huge fan of wet bags, even if you're like, I'm not cloth diapering, but I need some wet bags, like buy some wet bags. This spray pal is very similar to the mechanism that I showed in the video. My husband took some flexible cutting boards and some zip ties and made ours because that's just how he is. But they also make this on Amazon that you can buy. And what I love about this spray pal is that when you're spraying a diaper, sometimes things can ricochet. The spray pal holds it all together. So if it ricochets into the spray pal. You do a little rinse and you're good to go. You may not have like a poop shoot across the bathroom that you have to clean up. It's not super messy, but it happens. I mean, that's what happens when you spray things. The diaper sprayer is a must. It's another one of those things that we still have attached to our toilet and I will probably never take it off. It can be used for so many different things, to spray out puke buckets after the kids are sick, or to spray the dog's feet off if the dog is running mud, to clean things out. We'll use it to clean out the bathtub because it's actually easier to spray with that than to turn on the shower, or to get a bucket and clean it out. So I love my diaper sprayer. It is something that you want if you're cloth diapering, I promise you. And then there are cloth wipes. Cloth wipes are 100% your choice. The nice part of cloth wipes is that you don't have to have a separate wet bag or laundry bag or trash bag for disposable wipes. So when you're changing a diaper and you're cleaning the bottom with a wipe, you can throw it all into the same bag and wash it all together. Where a disposable wipe, you have to like take it out and go throw it into a trash can. I did a combination of the two. I love disposable wipes for the diaper bag and for childcare, and I loved cloth wipes for home. For that very reason that I didn't have to go take the poopy wipes down the hall to the bathroom to throw them away or to the kitchen trash can. But again, that is completely optional, and your choice when it comes to kind of what you want to use as far as wipes. There are a ton of wipes on the market now that are chemical free, water wipes, things like that. So the environmental impact or the chemical impact of disposable wipes is not as big as it was once, when it came to using wipes.
Okay, I have a question about the sprayer.
Uh-huh.
So you said your sprayer is attached to the toilet. Is it attached to like the back or is it a part, like how does that work out?
Yeah, so there's the hose, that like the water hose that is connected to the toilet, and you turn off the water, you disconnect it, you put this sprayer kind of in between the hose to the toilet and the nozzle to the wall. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there is like a on-off switch on it. So if you want to use your sprayer, you turn the nozzle and then you can spray with it, or you can turn it off and it turns the water off to the sprayer. And then there's like a little hook that hooks on to the tank, so that your sprayer just hooks right onto it. And you can also hook it onto the wall, but I think it's pretty easy just to hook it right onto the tank.
Okay, so with that, like, did you have any issues with like your kids messing with it?
That's a good question. My kids definitely wanted to pick it up and use it. We taught them how to use it to kind of get their desire to touch it out of their system. But it was difficult for them to figure out how to turn the water on and to press the lever to spray. So even if the water's on, it's not spraying. You have to still kind of press the lever to get the water out. And I would say that on very rare occasions did I have a situation where I found one of them in the bathroom spraying things with the sprayer. Did it happen? Yes. Was it very often? No. Like once the novelty of it wore off, we were good. Your 3-year-old probably going to try it out once or twice. So let them spray the diapers off with you, or spray something in the bathtub or in the toilet, and then the novelty will wear off and you'll probably be fine. But that is a great question. I mean, who wouldn't want to play with a diaper sprayer, really? So.
And is it hard to put the sprayer on, like attach it to the water line?
No, not at all. My husband did it, but I could have done it. It comes with directions, and it took him maybe 10 minutes to do it. So it's pretty easy.
And then like when you look up like one of those, do you just like look up like sprayer, like toilet sprayer or something?
Yeah, you can just Amazon search for diaper sprayer. And there are plenty that will pop up. When we bought ours about 8 years ago, and there was like 2 brands. And so you like bought them at one place. Now there are so many different brands on Amazon that it's really easy. They're between $25 and $50 and well worth every penny that you will spend on it. Especially for a 10-month-old who's on solid foods, and you'll want to be spraying all of those poops. Before diaper sprayers, you would have to kind of put the diaper into the toilet, shimmy it around, flush it so that the pressure from the flush kind of took the poo off, and then wring it out. And the diaper sprayer is just so much easier.
Or could you like let them soak like in like a water or soap solution and let them soak for like some hours to loosen it up and then flush the poo-poo water?
So soaking diapers used to be a thing that was recommended with washing, and it's no longer recommended, because when the diapers are sitting in a liquid, it can cause bacteria to form in the diapers, and it also starts to kind of wear down your diapers pretty quickly. So they start losing absorbency, and the PUL, which is the fabric on the cover that stops the diaper from leaking, starts to wear and crack, and then it leaks. And the last thing you want is the PUL to start leaking, because then it defeats the entire purpose of having a diaper on in the first place. So it is not recommended to do that. But there are a lot of answers to those questions on Fluff Love University, of like very specific questions and situations around spraying and scraping diapers and soaking diapers and all of that. And then last but not least, I have already mentioned childcare a little bit, but childcare programs are allowed by licensing to accept children that are cloth diapered and to use them. There is no reason for them to say no to a child who is cloth diapered. And if that happens, I can work with a program that supports childcare programs directly to offer assistance. Most of the time they say no because they just don't know what to do with them, or they have those misconceptions around cloth diapering. And it's usually as simple as like, let me show you, let me change my baby and show you how this works. And then they're like, oh. But with childcare programs, they cannot rinse or clean diapers. So they can't spray them clean. The most they can do is plop a ploppable poop into the toilet. But they just basically take off the diaper, put it in the wet bag, and then when you bring it home, you will clean them, unstuff them, spray them, whatever you need to do. Just making sure that you've supplied enough diapers, a wet bag daily, and then cloth safe diaper cream to them. They basically just change it just like a disposable. They just put it in a different bag at the end of the diaper change instead of the trash can. So really it's easy for them if you walk them through how to use it. And then my husband's job at the end of the day was to spray all of the diapers that came home from childcare. I did it. It's not hard. It's just a matter of taking them all and spraying them that day and not letting them sit until wash day, because we all learn our lesson the hard way. So hopefully you got all of your questions answered. And if not, feel free to kind of continue to throw them at me. But thank you for asking as we went, because that was nice to be able to answer as we were talking about that certain topic. And I'm also available after the fact, so you can feel free to email me with any questions that you have, or even send me links to say like, hey, this is what I'm looking at. Do you recommend this or not? And I can be like, yes, that's great, or no, look at this one instead. So my email is up on the screen. It's just laureng@childcareanswers.com.
I think I am done with all the questions, but I definitely appreciate this webinar because, like, I don't know, I guess I just woke up one day and decided to like start doing cloth diapers. Like, I literally was in Walmart and was getting like regular underwear for my oldest, and I saw cloth diapers. I'm like, let me go ahead and get some and try this out. Like, it was a humbug. So I wanted to get as much information because like I totally had like the old mindset with the pins and all that. And then with like the pre-fold, like I said, with like the muslin cloths, I was like, I have to figure out how to fold this diaper around this child and everything else. But like the way like you explained it and like seeing all the options and stuff is definitely way easier than I thought it would be.
Good. And you can use what you got by just getting a snappy and some covers, or you can decide like what I got is not what I want to do. Let's try something different. Let's get, pockets or whatever. And then you can even use what you got as inserts to pockets for like nap time or nighttime or things like that, to make it a little bit easier for stuffing. But that's up to you. But I'm glad that you don't think it's as hard as you thought. One of my coworkers sat in on this as I was going through it, and she was like, this just confirmed that I don't want a cloth. And I was like, I don't want you to think that. But I think every family is different and at a different place. And I loved cloth diapering. And so I hope that you will love it just as much as I did.